Hi, my gardening friends. Welcome to Tea Time Tuesday, the last week in November. I'm Lark, and I'm in Wisconsin, Zone 5, Southeast Wisconsin. I'm a senior gardener that has moved into a senior community. We had a couple acres in our other home, and now we decided to live here, and we love it. We're lucky enough to have a gardening spot, fenced in, only 4 foot, but the fence is only 4 foot high. But I'm guessing the deer don't like how close everything is here, so they don't take a chance in jumping in, or they haven't so far. I garden in raised galvanized beds. This is a new one we purchased, and we will be planting this in spring. Right now, this was somebody else's spot before, and they are going over to the raised beds, the higher raised beds. So I couldn't set up my whole bed because they wanted to harvest their parsnips in spring. So I just put cardboard down around the parsnips, and everything else is cardboard and straw. And I did this to hold weeds down, and I did it all season in my area and in this path. And most of them like that I did this. This is what it looked like before. Okay, lots of weeds under here. This spot here is going to be my new spot, and hopefully it will choke out all the weeds. And then this is some in-ground that will be available. I don't know if there's anybody else here that wants to do in-ground, so we'll see what they do with it. They do garden in containers too, in large containers. This is very nice for senior people. I'd say the average age here is probably about 85 or so. Dave and I are probably one of 6 that are here that are in their 70s. So this here is going to be my hoop house, the 4-foot section of a 4x8 bed. This gives me room to rotate now that I have a 3rd bed. This 4-foot section is going to be my brassicas, which I will be covering again with a roll cover so I don't get that white butterfly. But in spring, I am putting over plastic. I'm going to try it and see how it does here. There'll be plastic over these conduit pipes I bent, and I have it on rebar. Okay, so I got some height going here. If you look back at some of my other videos, I didn't have it tall enough. Now it's probably about 4 foot tall, and that should hold my kales. I got boards ready, so in spring I don't have to try to find where they're at. I would put plastic over the bed just to warm up the soil too. So flat, I will put plastic flat to warm up the soil, and then I will also put it over but you know what? I don't think I'm going to hoop this whole thing with plastic because I don't need the height. So I am going to probably just put in a, let's say 2-foot hoop in here. I'll find some pliable pipe, I think like 1/8 inch rods that I can bend. Yeah, I think that's going to be more easily heat the soil up. It won't heat all this dead space that I don't need the height. So what I will do is plant my seeds or my starts of all the greens in here, cover it up with a small hooped plastic, and first a row cover too. So I'll have it double, a row cover hooped and then plastic hooped. I hope that makes sense to you. But what I'm going to try to do is get the brassicas out here early. Then I said I have plastic over all of this. I might be able to start things earlier, like peas and beets. Anyways, that's my plan, and I think it's very cool to be here and be able to plan gardens yet. It really keeps me sane between that and my painting. So now I get to rotate. Won't that be nice? Some of you are asking, why am I not growing in the raised beds? These raised beds are made with treated lumber. And I won't do growing in treated lumber beds. This odd raised bed, I'm going to, if nobody wants this bed, I am going to be putting in a cutting garden, just for cut flowers. My calendula that I use to make infusions will still be over in the organic area. My calendula and nasturtiums, that type. You can see that my kale is done, pretty well done. But we haven't had rain either. I will pick these and I will eat these. But next year, come fall, they'll be over there in that hooped in area, and I will put a row of plastic over that for, we'll try November, and a row cover, double hooped. And that's why I made it 4 foot tall, so these kales can stand up erect. So wish me luck. Over here on the other side, I bagged up leaves. Yes, I did rake leaves in this retirement community, and people thought like, oh my gosh, Lark, you are raking and stressing your body and you don't have to? Why are you collecting leaves? So I let them know I'm going to try to make leaf mulch in there. These are coming down, these raised beds. They aren't as sturdy. You can see that they're leaning, so they're dangerous. So what they put in this place, I don't know. If I were them, I probably would wait and see how many people are interested in gardening over here before they go to the expense of building some more beds, because these aren't cheap to make, and 3 pillars did pay for everything. So I have all my tomato cages on top here just to hold the cardboard down. That's my way of covering soil. So one of the people used what do you call these? I'm having senior moment here, but they covered them in plastic pallets. And so they have some greens growing in here. Isn't that cool? That they're experimenting on the cheap. I don't know what they all have in here. Looks like they might have carrots in there and broccoli, but they're not eating the greens. Okay. And then one other person on the end here has spinach planted. In his, he made a frame, and his frame, he can hinge it up. But this isn't clear plastic. Let's go look at where I laid my bark path in spring. You know this is going to be the last garden video because it is cold here. Today is fairly nice. It's windy. You're probably hearing it. And it is about 42 degrees. This is my bark path that the maintenance man, outdoor maintenance, laid with me. I laid all cardboard under here. And this is the weed that invades. Creeping Charlie. But I try keeping I weed this area where they have all the weeds. I try to keep it from going in the bark. This is my herbs. And they did well. This is their first really good year. So this is oregano. And I'm letting it spread, but I have cardboard up, probably up to about a foot close to these herbs. Oregano, Greek oregano, lemon balm, horseradish, thyme. Right there. And then peppermint and some rosemary behind that. Yarrow. This is the wild white. I still could harvest some of these leaves. Sage, that could be harvested again. I already did. Lavender, I don't know. Somebody here gave me that, so I don't know if it's a hardy lavender. We'll see. And then peppermint. So, oh, and I forgot. Here, it's gone right now, is stinging nettle also. Yes, I use all of them. That's it, my gardening friends. Well, my mom, she lives here too. She's 92, and she weeded along here for me. This is where I plant my calendula on this fence, and some tomatoes in there. So it'll be ready for spring. All along this edge. Did a nice job. We don't want the grass invading it. So if we keep doing it like twice a year, in spring we'll look at it again, and it works. So take care, my gardening friends, and I had a wonderful season in this garden. I really did. Enough to share with people every other day. I was sharing my vegetables and herbs, and hope to even do more next year, having another bed. Stay healthy. Make some plans for next year's gardening. And I hope I motivate some of you seniors to keep gardening. Just do it smaller. It's okay. We get outside and we breathe. Do it in containers like they do here, or in raised beds. You want to see something silly? That stump over there and the wedge, that is where I sit in the winter. I call it my lounge chair. So I take it and spin that wedge around, and I can look out over the wetland area here, and it's beautiful and quiet. And I can practice my pranayama breathing and my alternate nasal breathing, and just do some meditating, listening, taking in the fragrances of winter setting in Wisconsin. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.